Hello everyone, and welcome to a round 2 match from the Huddersfield Sheriff event. We've got here Oddities facing off against the Sloane Gang. The Oddities running a very usual starting lineup of Pagliaccio, Valeria, Brute, Funtime Freddy and Leonardo. Sloane Gang starting Jacqueline, Lawrence Blackwood, Jake Smiley, Barton Everest and the Fixer. So low ball there, Oddities winning that one. The Fixer was used to get a Peacemaker. The other options were an experienced Ali Hensman, concealed weapons, which is an unusual card, don't see that very often. Winchester, Ulysses Marks, and then obviously the Peacemaker which took. So General Store played there by Oddities. Going to be using that to play his hexes if he's in Town Square or just reduce their costs. Jacqueline to Town Square, but a Rapier onto Funtime Freddy, so he's going to be a 3-stud in the fights. I imagine the Sloane Gang, well, we've seen the Winchester from the Fixer, so he is playing range weapons, although Winchester generally want to boot that, so Rapier, very good choice against Winchester, because obviously you still get the bullets if the range weapon is booted. So Pony Express over on Sloane Gang, Funtime Freddy goes to Town Square. I imagine he's going to boot Jacqueline. Pony Express, he's going to discard a card. Faithful Hound gone there, so difficult to work out the draw structure on the Sloane Gang. He's been playing lots of low cards, but up to value 7, so not sure whether he's running a legendary holster deck and he's expecting to just kill people in shootouts by pulling the legendary holster. But Lawrence goes to Town Square. I imagine Leonardo is going to try and boot him. No, so Brute to Town Square. I doubt the Sloane Gang can have a too early a shootout. I mean, it's going to be 2-stud with Barton against the 3-stud Freddy. So I'm not sure either player is too keen to have a shootout. Obviously, if Oddities goes in with the shootout, Jacqueline is going to defend. So both players pass. There's the stakes just rose. So I think it's definitely perhaps 3s for the Sloane Gang player. Jackson Queens. I imagine for the Oddities, he's at least 3 have gone yet. Pair of aces there for Sloane. So Coach Whip booting Leonardo. He's not going to use his ability or gain any hexes, but Valeria is there if he's got a handful of hexes, and she's generally a good enough do to be getting those hexes. She wants to be involved in fights, being the naught stud. Leon's more sort of passive. He's just probably there just to price his mark everyone. Using the Sloane Gang ability with Jacqueline, the Brute's going to boot Lawrence. So lots of booting going on in the Town Square, but not what happening. Is there a shotgun on Barton? No, it's Peacemaker on Barton. So he's up to a 3-stud. Paralysis Mark onto Valeria. Game progressing very quickly. Pony Express discarding the war paint. Blood Curse on Valeria. Don't think either player is in danger of losing at the moment. Only 1 control point on each side, and it's 4 influence for Sloane Gang, 5 influence for the Oddities. Prices Mark on Barton. Unexpected behaviour, but he can't be Blood Curse Barton, so that's going to be very useful. The 3-stud, and especially against Funtime, who's now back to 1-stud. Would be a risk here to Jake Town Square try and call someone else. So Valeria into Town Square. I imagine Jake could call out Valeria here. I think you'd rather Valeria than the Funtime Freddy. Funtime is obviously only offering influence in town, but you can't be used to control deeds, where Valeria, with that 1 influence, she can control the deeds, and she's a huckster, so she's going to get all the spells, so reducing down to just 1 huckster, a kidnapping. But Jake calls out Funtime Freddy. Funtime Freddy goes home booted. Ticks being played by Oddities. Jake is calling out Valeria. Jacqueline not going to be in the posse, and you can understand why. I mean, she is useful as the stud, but now with Barton the Peacemaker, he's not going to lose the stud, so Jacqueline would just probably be a very good casualty. I think she's been the stakes just rosed in. So why she was kept out, because obviously she couldn't rejoin or join the posse and become a stud if she was already in this posse. So 4-stud for Sloane Gang and 2 draw versus 3-stud and 1 draw for Oddities. Brute's an excellent candidate here for casualties. Joker in the hand of the oddities player, so 4 of a kind possible. Maybe even a legal 5 of a kind. But you've got to expect with the using of the coach whip that the probably holding on to a cheating resolution card from the Sloan Gang, because he did come out after and have the fight. So Oddities probably doesn't want to cheat here. Sloan Gang less sure. It's not who you know is likely in the Oddities deck on Queens. So Joker in the Sloan Gang hand. So both players will be using a Joker. Straight flush versus legal 4 of a kind. Hex slinging. So Oddities up by 1 now. So Oddities is going to take a Sloan Gang to casual here. Imagine it's going to be Jacqueline. No influence. Obviously Jacqueline is unlikely to get booted by Paralysis Mark, but she'll still get booted by the Oddities ability. But no, Lawrence is going. So down to 3 influence on the Sloan Gang side. Sloan Gang staying. 4 stub 1 draw. Oddities. Imagine he could go home here. I mean, just Jake is unbooted, so he can take the control point, but Pagliaccio. But no, both sides staying. So another round of the shootout. Still 3 stud and 1 draw for Oddities. He's still got the brute as well to soak the casualties if it does go horribly wrong. No jokers this time by the looks of it. Wonder if we'll see another straight flush from Sloan Gang. It's difficult with straight flush. I mean, it's a lot of hand rank difference between just a flush and a straight flush. And really, I think if you're trying for straight flush, you want to be going for sort of a full house, 4 of a kind options anyway. So run 2 strong values, maybe 3 strong, sort of 14, 15, 16 cards, and then have the extra clubs to make it into a straight flush. So cheating full house for Ding Magical Distraction. So we're going to pull for the rank 11. So Dead Man's Hand. So Sloan Gang down by 3, and this is not looking good. Valeria could, I imagine, Sloan Gang is going to have to better play something here if he wants to do things. So Jake's going home booted. So down to 2 influence. Oddities can't win this turn, but he's going to get the second control point, so you put him 1 control point away from winning. Both players pass, and no paralysis mark anymore. But Leonardo isn't. Leonardo can move to town square to boot Jake, and a deed here would finish the game off, or would at least force Jake into a fight. It's going to be cheating 4 of a kind from Oddities. And yeah, Sloan Gang just shuffling, but he's no way he can do worse apart from a straight flush. If he pulls that though, that'd be very unlucky, I think. So just shuffling up here. I mean, he needs another dude really. The Sloan Gang player. He doesn't have a. He's going to make 3 money this turn, so he's going to do quite well. 2 pair for. I think he's got a back way. A bottom dealing in hand. So he's if Oddities does cheat, but he's got so much stud at the moment. Honestly, he's got the 2 stuff from Tix. He's got the 0 stuff from Vera. So it's and then now the 3 stud again from Funtime Freddy, because the Peacemaker has gone with Barton. But had to keep Jake in the last fight. Couldn't lose thing Pancho. So that's going to keep him in the game for a bit longer. And it's not going to be too quick a game. Although at the moment difficult for Huntsman Society for the Oddities. That's going to reduce the upkeep of Tix. So 3 control points now for Oddities against none, but 4 influence over on the Sloan Gang player. War Painting Pancho, so he's going to get up to 5 stud. Pony Express. Pancho moving to the Pony Express, so I imagine he's going to go out Valeria here, and that's going to result in her going home booted. Leon gets Phantasm. I'm surprised there he didn't try and put it onto Valeria, or perhaps he's going to try and move Pancho. Well, really nowhere to move Pancho at the moment. I mean, to Town Square or back home, both of which are a better option than being at Pony Express, because if he's at Pony Express he boots into Town Square. Another Phantasm. Forgetter's gone on there as well. Leon to Town Square. Valeria goes home booted after being called out. Some very quick plays here. Leon's going to boot Pancho. I can't imagine him being phantasmed anywhere. I mean, if he wants to call him out, he can do so in the Pony Express. Yes, so the paralysis, Leon's ability succeeds. The inbuilt paralysis mark. Pass from Sloan Gang player now. Oh, so he didn't have enough movable influence there with Valeria getting home booted to challenge the Pony Express. So there's no point moving Leon there just to have to boot to the Town Square if he wants to move again. So it's looking like a full house for Oddities versus 3 of a kind for the Sloan Gang. So yeah, so I think he's not running that strong a deck structure. I think he's possibly running sort of ace to 7s on clubs. But I saw a kidnapping there earlier. We've seen a concealed weapon, so perhaps fewer values at the top end, and then similarly sort of in hearts, and I think running 5s, and maybe something else, maybe 3s or something in spades, to try and sort of get the full houses at worst in any sort of fights. Pony Express, Blood Curse onto Funtime Freddy. Still not enough control points on the table for Oddities to win here. Only 3 on the table, and he can only reduce it down to 3 influence. So Sloan Gang will be holding for a while. Basic Ali Hensman for the Sloan Gang player. Phantasm onto Valeria. So even more spells, and I imagine those 9s are off value, so that's very much going to improve his draw structure. Phantasm injects 1 into Town Square. That is a success. I imagine he'll do the called out here, or he'll return home booted. No, so it's Peacemaker onto Pancho, so he can't be unstudied. Booting Pancho, success. So Jake now really, if he does get called out, he's going to have to go home booted. I don't think Ali is going to be a good enough shooter in order to help him. So Jake's moving to Pony Express, not booted there, because obviously moved from Town Square to a deed. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference here. The whole of Oddities is moving to the Town Square, so he's getting a lot of influence now. Valeria into Pony Express. Imagine he might try and Phantasm Jake here into the Town Square with the Phantasm ability. Yep. So that fails. So Jake's going to live another day. I imagine if he got to the Town Square he was very much in trouble. But Pancho's offering good protection there with 4 stud that can't be reduced. I think he can still be blood cursed from the Town Square, but he wouldn't lose any bullets. So Oddity's just booting for, I think, Phantasming Ali Hensman to town after moving to Pony Express. I imagine she'll go home back. She goes home booted. But now both players passing, so everything on boots. The Sloan Gang player is the one, I'd say, advantage he's got at the moment is that he's making some money. He makes 3 money a turn, 5 if he wins low ball. Obviously only 3 if he loses. Sorry, 2 if he loses. Sorry, no, 4. 2 if he loses. Cheating flush against cheating 2 pair. Sorry, legal 2 pair from the oddities. You are not sure there. So yes, definitely looks like a straight flush deck from the Sloan Gang player. He's got 4 money at the moment. Oddities, I think, is making 5 return at the moment because Tix no longer has any upkeep and none of the other dudes have upkeep. Leonardo was discarded. Well, I'm not quite sure how that happened. There wasn't a shootout, so perhaps he just didn't want to pay the upkeep. I mean, he wasn't carrying any hexes, I don't think, or perhaps I don't think he was. So Valeria boots into Town Square. Pony Express cycling a card. Stephen Wars from the Oddities player, so I imagine now he's going to come across shooting. So Stephen Wars to Town Square. I imagine he's very quickly going to move to the Pony Express and call out either Pancho or Jake. Probably Jake first. Pancho being moved out into the Town Square. And is Pancho going to start swinging? Still not enough control points on the table to win, but I imagine the Oddities player may be holding a control point here in his hand with a deed to play once he's booted both Pancho and Jake, or even just Pancho. So you can call out Pancho here. Pancho really sort of forced a fight. Moving home booted would not help him out, and that's what's surprising losing Leon, because Leon offered 2 influence. I'll have to go back and look at the video and see what happened to him myself, because I'm intrigued as to why he lost Leon. But I presume it was just for not having the upkeep, so then now he must have a deed in hand that he can play. He's got 5 money, so that would make sense. So it's everyone versus Pancho. Shooter actions. Sun your eyes on Stephen, but still 3 stud from 2 from Tix and 1 from Funtime Freddy. So it's 4 stud and 1 draw on Sloan versus 3 stud and 3 draw. 4 stud and 3 draw for the Oddities player. So odds in favour here of the Oddities. He's still got 1 Joker left in the deck, assuming he's running 2. I've yet to encounter a deck that only runs 1 Joker. I know he's lost both there. He obviously lost it in another Noble hand. So probably legal 4 looking like his best option here. I doubt he's going to want to cheat. I imagine there's a coach whip in hand. I don't know whether he's got any hexing or anything to use in the buckler. I think a hexing here is pretty much going to be the end of things. The 1 draw from the Sloan Gang. Really looking for the straight flush, but he may have to settle for a 4 of a kind or a full house. Not sure if he's still got a Joker. I think he's only got rid of 1, so if he has pulled the Joker here, that will help him. So legal full house versus legal full house. So hex slinging to raise his hand rank by 2. Sloan Gang passes, so Ali Hensman dies, but I imagine there's going to be another round of shootout here because Pancho can't. If Pancho dies, that is game. So both players staying, and this is, I think, the last chance for the Sloan Gang player. Don't think he can cheat here, but he may sort of feel he has to. Full house is likely to lead to a tie, which still loses in Pancho in the game. So I think if he's offered a cheating 4 or a cheating 5, he's perhaps got to try it over the full house if it's legal. Oddities again, he's still not got either jokers, so 4 of a kind if you can. But I think a legal full house to be happy with is. I mean, he's got the brute to lose even if it does go badly. So I think so. 4 of a kind, cheating for Sloan Gang versus, I think it's full house, difficult to see there, but hex slinging. So Pancho is going to die. Not game yet, but it's not looking good for the Sloane Gang player. So Stephen Wiles over to the Pony Express. That's check for Sloane Gang. He needs to play a dude here, otherwise he is in serious trouble. Another deed isn't going to help him, and he's only making 3 money next turn as well at the moment, because obviously Stephen Wiles will. Yes, so we're just now getting the Leon instance, and we have established we have just discarded. He did discard Leon accidentally there. So one of the more unusual plays I've seen in my videos so far. I've not noticed anyone voluntarily discard a dude. I assumed he had the money for the lead, but Jake calling out Stephen Wiles. Stephen Wiles accepts. Presumably bring the brute in here just in case. Ulysses. I thought that was a call out, but no. Yep, Pagliaccio moves into Pony Express to use the shootout ability, and the brute I imagine might move in as well to cover any casualties should things go horribly wrong. I know Stephen Wiles calling out Jake. Jake goes home, so not yet. Check again for inference over on the Sloane Gang. And the only unfortunate thing is he doesn't have. So Valeria's is now only movable influence. Other than Stephen, I don't think he's going to save the money. I'm surprised he got rid of the flying Popescu there. Popescu, sorry. I mean, they would be some mobile influence for him, which he could use to keep that control point next turn. And if he can find a couple more deeds, I think we might be having Leon back. Yes, we do have Leon back. He wasn't meant to be discarded, so he's back in town square. So the movable influence is back. But I imagine probably Leon actually wanted to end up at Pony Express, because obviously Stephen Wiles will disappear. So if the Sloane player does win low ball, he can very simply just Pony Express a rubbish card from his hand as the first action. So low ball. See what we get here. It's looking like full house again. Yep, full house for Oddities, legal, against less than a legal full house in Sloane, but he's lost his second joker, so both players now lost both jokers. So he's paying for Stephen. Perhaps why I got rid of Popescu's. No need to play them if you're going to keep Stephen around, but not sure. Presumably that means he probably doesn't have the cash now to play 2 deeds, which would result in a game win. So I think this is going to go another turn at least, unless those blood curses can reduce him enough. So Leon gets blood curse, but he's still going to be on 3 ticks to Pony Express. I imagine we're going to cycle a card here. Rapier onto ticks, just cycling cards then out of his hand, so he try and draw some deeds in the next turn here. Pony Express gets rid of Henry, doesn't need another dude. Phantasm, not a deed again. So I think we're definitely going to another day. He needs either a blood curse or a deed to finish this game off. So Leon off to the Pony Express. He's going to get the Phantasm. Don't think there's any danger of Oddities having a quick loss here with Stephen on the table. Leon and Valeria, 4 control points needed, even with Stephen's gone. But Lawrence is back. His earlier death was, I think, Ulysses being brought to Pony Express. He's going to go home booted. No other things. Oddities says he wants to fight, but ticks back to the town square. He's got Stephen for the fight at Pony Express if he really needs to. Brute can move in, or Pagliaccio going to take casualties first, so he's not in any real risk of losing. Winchester on Lawrence. A forget on Leonardo. Probably to forget Lawrence's ability, just in case he can get across town square and get to a deed. Not going to do it this turn though. So still 3 control points to oddities against 5 influence on Sloan Gang, and no control points for the Sloan Gang against a lot of influence for the oddities player. It's at least 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 influence. Legal 3 of a kind versus looks like a pair, so Sloan Gang going to win that. I think he's contemplating it's not what you know, so he's actually going to win low ball. Deny Sloan Gang player some extra cash there. He's fairly comfortable in cash. Probably got the 1 deed he requires. Well, actually no, sorry, it's two deeds now, or a deed and a blood curse. So the blood curse will send him down to 4 influence. But no, it's a paralysis mark, not a blood curse. So I think this again doesn't end this turn. Paralysis mark onto Leon. So anyone who comes over is going to get paralysis marked immediately. So Lawrence, presumably might try and come over here, but he'll get booted immediately by the paralysis mark. So he's not going to call anyone out. But Winchester, no, staying on Lawrence. I think it's just abiding the time here on Sloan Gangs. El Glocco, not up on my Spanish. He goes to the Huntsman. Freddy moving to Huntsman. He's going to transfer the Rapier. Greco going to Town Square with Freddy. Just to think. Valeria goes back to General Store. Going to get a Hex presumably. Yep, forget. So he's still searching his deck for Blood Curse and Deeds. But not finding either of them yet. Looks like a cheating resolution in his hand, so don't get rid of that. But Pat's Perch, I think that so it doesn't look like he's got the winning Blood Curse or Deed. Sorry, and Deed. Pair of 4s to Sloan Gang. There's the Blood Curse he wanted. But a pair of 8s, but it's still going to be no 2 pair. No, sorry, it's only a pair on Sloan Gang, so he's going to win low ball. I don't think winning low ball here really matters. If he tries to go anywhere for a call out, he's just going to get paralysis marked. 2 boots in effect on the oddities side. Paralysis mark onto Valeria using the General Store. Yeah, I think it's just try and play as many cards as possible from the Sloan Gang, and if you can find another dude, another Winchester. No, sorry, is that a shotgun? I think. Difficult to see from this angle, but I think it is. Which can get rid of the Pagalaccio. Pat's Perch doesn't come into play booted. That's only the California Tax Office. But booting Ulysses, yes, it is a shotgun. I can see that there now. And I'm not sure there's much point in paralysis marking everyone here. I mean, obviously it stops them moving anywhere back to his deeds, but I can't see that really happening. Shotgun to Jake. Lawrence getting booted by the paralysis mark. I imagine Jake is going to get booted by Leonardo. I mean, the cycling through the deck is... the Pharmacy, there we go. That is now going to be game if he can get the Blood Curse. So it's 5 control points to 5 influence, but a Blood Curse on Ulysses is going to win the game, I think, there. I'm not sure, unless he's got a Stephen Wiles. But no, that is game. He finally found that deed that he needed to win that, and those early shootouts again, the downfall. Both games we've seen here at Huddersfield so far, oddities against Sloan. Sloan have suffered from the hex slinging approach and losing. So round 2 done. Round 3 hope to come out soon. Thanks again for watching, and see you all soon.